Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is September 2nd, 2024, and today we're going to be talking about the absolute thrashing that Barcelona gave Real Valladolid, winning 7-0. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the post-match live analysis, and I say post-match in quotation because, as you know, I was out of the country. So on Saturday, I was not able to watch the match between Barcelona and Real Valladolid because I was in a rural area. There was no signal, so I missed the match. That was on Saturday. Yesterday, Sunday, I was flying all day, flying back home. And then today, finally, I'm back home. And the first thing I did when I woke up was watch the match because I told you guys I'll do a post-match live analysis. So I just finished watching the match like 5 minutes ago. And now I'm doing the post-match live analysis. I know it's 2 days later, but as promised, here it is. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Anyways, let's talk about the match because, of course, the only time that I miss a Barcelona match, it ends in a 7-0. An absolute thrashing by Barcelona, 7-0 against Real Valladolid at the Olympic Stadium. Luis Companys with goals of Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, who's now 2 for 2, his second goal in his second match. A goal by Robert Lewandowski, who has now scored 4 goals in 4 matches, making him the Pichichi of La Liga so far. Also goals of Jules Koundé, who would have thought a center back, or I should say a right back. And then finally, a hat trick. Yes, you heard that right. A hat trick by Rafinha, his first hat trick in his career. An absolutely amazing match by the Brazilian, who was following up yet another great performance from last match against Valencia. He had a great performance there. He had another great performance against Real Valladolid, but now he added the cherry on top, which was his hat trick, plus an assist to Ferran Torres. But I don't want to get ahead of myself and talk about the players. Let's talk overall about the performance of the team, and then we'll talk about the players like we always do. But let's talk about the performance of the team because Saturday's match, not today's match. I just watched it today, but Saturday's match was like rolling back the years because for the first time in a very, very, very long time, we saw a Barcelona team playing with the Barcelona identity. And for the first time, we saw a Barcelona team do what we all expected out of Barcelona, what we all expect when we see Barcelona play. We saw a team that was playing as a cohesive unit, where every player knew exactly what to do, where every player occupied their space in a correct way, where every player covered another player's back, and where every player knew exactly where to be in each exact moment, which facilitated Barcelona's movement of the ball, which is something I talked about a lot last season that I say was lacking because under Xavi, Barcelona was always improvising. So when a player had a ball, the other players did not know what to do. They did not know where to go. So the guy with the ball would have to take a long time to decide what to do with his ball because nobody was open. That's not the case under Flick. It was definitely not the case in the match against Real Valladolid because when a player had the ball, everyone else knew where to go, where to be, how to get open. So made the movement of the ball a lot faster because the guy who has the ball, all he has to do is, well, pass it to where another player is because everybody knows where they have to be. Also, I saw a team that played great from the first second until the last second. That's something that was lacking in Flick's team. The first 3 matches of the season, we had Barcelona start really slow the first half. Then Flick made the right adjustments in the halftime, and then Barcelona would end up playing the second half much better. That was not the case against Real Valladolid. Barcelona played great from the first second until the last second. I think Flick got it absolutely correct with his lineup. And we saw a Barcelona that was happy, was joyful. A team that was happy to be on the field, players that were happy, enjoying themselves on what to do. Not like previous seasons where the players always looked frustrated, they would look mad, they were constantly yelling at each other, fighting with each other, arguing with each other. No, we saw a happy, joyful Barcelona. Everybody was happy. Everybody was enjoying themselves. They were enjoying what they were doing. And as a result, it was visible in the way they were playing. They were playing joyful football where the movement of the ball was smooth, where there was runs to the back of the defenders, where there were passes to the runs of defenders. There were goals from every side, right, left, middle. It was an absolute pleasure to watch this team. And I haven't seen a Barcelona team play this well since, I don't know, maybe the Luis Enrique era, maybe even before, but it was an absolute joyful match to watch. And it was like rolling back the years. And for the first time in many, many years, whether it was under Valverde, Setien, Koeman, or Xavi, for the first time in many, many years, we're seeing a Barcelona that plays with identity, a Barcelona that plays with the Cruyff identity, a Barcelona that moves the ball very quickly, a Barcelona that pressures a lot, a Barcelona that keeps the intensity the full 90 minutes. Even when Barcelona were up 7-0, they were still looking for the 8th and the 9th and the 10th goal. They were still attacking and attacking. They were still creating chances, creating danger. And not once did this team let their foot off the gas. And this is what we want to see in Barcelona. Unlike last season where Barcelona would score 1 goal and immediately the team would shut off, would fall asleep, allowing the opponent to score a goal and draw and tie us or even beat us if we were already level. But absolute joy of a match. I can't believe I missed it, but I'm very, very glad that I got to watch it today. Now, this is what when I say this is what I expect of Barcelona, I don't mean the scoreline because you cannot expect a thrashing every match. That's just impossible. It's unrealistic. But what I mean is when I say this is what I expect of Barcelona is the way they were playing and the way they were dominating. Because 70 to 80% of all matches that Barcelona are going to play, it's going to be against inferior clubs, against teams with much inferior budget, much inferior players, inferior coaches, etc. So you expect Barcelona that for at least 70 to 80% of the matches to dominate. And again, I don't mean the scoreline. I'm not talking about every match 5, 6, 7, 0. No, I mean we expect Barcelona to dominate 70 to 80% of their matches. And for the longest time, that hasn't been the case. For the longest time, we've struggled against everybody. We've struggled against the top table teams. We've struggled against the bottom table teams. We've struggled against mid-table teams. We've struggled against everybody. And yesterday, that was not the case. Yesterday, Barcelona did what we expected to do against an inferior team, which is to dominate the full 90 minutes, to set the tempo, to set the rhythm, to create chances, to play a joyful football that we all expected to see from Barcelona. Now, this is not always going to be the case. There's going to be tough matches where we're really going to struggle. There's going to be matches where we barely going to win in the last minute. It's going to be matches that we might even lose or draw. But for 70 to 80% of the matches, you expect Barcelona to play that joyful, dominant football that we saw on Saturday. And that's not something that we've seen in many, many years. And finally, we saw it on Saturday against Real Valladolid. Now, interesting fact, I went back and looked it up because I could not remember when was the last time Barcelona won 7-0. And you have to go all the way back to 2014. That's the last time Barcelona won 7-0. Absolutely insane. 10 years. It's been 10 years since Barcelona dominated a team like that in an era which Xavi told us thrashings don't exist anymore. Let's not forget that. Last season, Xavi told us thrashings are not a thing anymore in modern football. It's impossible to thrash teams. That's not a thing anymore. That era is long gone. And he said that in the same season where Girona thrashed us twice, 4 goals and 4 goals for a total of 8, where Athletic Club de Bilbao thrashed us in the Copa del Rey, where, was it? Villarreal scored 5 against us. And now Barcelona go ahead and score 7-0. So I guess the era of thrashing is not over. We simply did not have the right formula to do it. Now, let's do a few comments and then we will go back to talking about the lineup, about the players, etc., just like we always do. But let's see what you guys are saying. Not the Gamer says, hey Mo, thoughts on Alonso to Celta, also that piece of garbage Neto to Arsenal. Honestly, I don't care. If it's not Barcelona related, I'm not going to, address it. Wisdom says, why we have an international break so soon after two major international tournaments, Euro and Copa America? That is an excellent question. And I'm wondering the same thing. This is terrible planning by FIFA, but as we have come to expect, FIFA doesn't really care about players' health. FIFA doesn't really care about players' exhaustion or about calendars. All FIFA cares about is, well, the money. Siabong says, hey Mo, welcome back home. Did you see how Madrid won last night? An offside and a penalty that was not a penalty. I'm tired of La Liga referees. I did not see the match because A, I don't really watch Madrid matches. I don't care what they do. And B, well, I was flying all day yesterday, so that's another reason he wasn't why I didn't see it. All right, and we have donations. Livid says, someone call Xavi and fire him again. I think one firing is enough. One firing is enough. But, you know, this goes to show because last season and the one before, people were so mad at me, saying I was a hater, that I was toxic, that I wasn't a Barcelona fan, that I was a Madrid fan, blah, 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 because how dare I question Xavi Hernandez's tactics and coaching. And here we have the same exact squad because Barcelona have only signed 2 players this season. Pau Victor, who was already in Barcelona, he was on loan to Barca Athletic, so Xavi could have still used them. And then Dani Olmo. So really, the only difference between this season squad and last season squad is Dani Olmo. And yet, Flick is doing with this squad in 4 matches what Xavi was incapable of doing in 2.5 seasons. But I was the toxic one and the hater for criticizing Xavi. You tell me. Hey, Aaron, thank you so much for your generous donation. He says, even though he's not really my guy, I was extremely happy to see Rafinha finally put in Barca level performance. I hope it's not a one-off performance and he can continue being an important piece in Flick's system. Also, a deal is a deal, my bro. Thank you, my friend, so much for your donation. And I couldn't agree more with you 100%. I'm also very extremely happy with Rafinha's performance. I'm not going to go into it too much right now because I'm going to talk about it later, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yes, I'm very happy with Rafinha's performance in this match and in the previous one as well. I think he's off to a really good start. I think Flick has found the right use, if you want to put it that way, to Rafinha. And yes, I really hope he continues off on this path. Not just him, but everybody on the team. Because honestly, against Real Valladolid, every single player did great. I can't even think about a single player that I can point at and be like, that guy really messed it up. Everybody did great, so I hope everybody stays on this level. And also Rafinha, I really hope he continues on this trajectory. And one more donation. Sanjok says, Mo, Rafinha may not be Barca level, but you can't deny the fact that he gives 150% every time he plays for the full 90 minutes, and that's commendable. I agree 100% with you. I've never disputed that fact. The last 2 seasons when I criticized Rafinha, I always said, I don't think he's Barca level, but he does give his 100%. He does. He's always have. He always does. I've never disputed that fact. Now, so far, he has put in 2 Barca level performances against Real Valladolid and against Valencia. But I've never denied the fact that he does give 150%. And one more donation. Ferdinand says, hi, Mo. Thanks for your wonderful work as always, man. I also believe that Rafinha is not Barca level, but we need to accept that he is improving. 100%. No denying that. He is improving. I think Flick has found a way to extract the best out of Rafinha. And not just Rafinha. I mean, Lewandowski. Remember, everybody was saying Lewandowski's done. Lewandowski's done. And so far, 4 goals in 4 matches. I think Flick is definitely finding a way to get the best out of his players. Even the academy players. Bernal, Casado. Those 2 players were available for Xavi. But yet Xavi, for 2 seasons, continued to complain. Oh, I want Subimendi. Oh, I want Kimmich. Oh, I want Oriol Romeo. Oh, I want, what's the Argentinian guy? Rodriguez from Real Betis. I want. And the whole time, Bernal and Casado were right there. It took Flick 5 seconds to come to Barcelona and realize, hey, guys, I don't need anything. I got everything I need. If you want to bring me players, sure, great, awesome. But if not, I'm happy with the squad. Flick has been saying that since day one. Xavi, on the other hand, from day one, he's been, I need this, I need that, I need this. Well, this is what we have. So I don't know what else to do. This is what I got. Meanwhile, Flick is like, this is what I got. This is amazing. Xavi's like, this is what I got. See the difference? And that's what I've been talking about for so long. But again, I was the hater. I was the toxic fan. I was a Madrid fan for saying those things. Well, the proof is in the pudding. You guys tell me. But anyways, let's get back and talk about the match, and let's talk about the lineup and more specifically the players, because this is what the lineup that Flick started with. Mark Ter Stegen, Balde, Iñigo, Pau Cubarsí, and Jules Koundé, the 4 defensive line. In the midfield, we had Marc Casado, Dani Olmo, and Pedri. And in the front 3, we had Lewandowski surrounded by Lamine Yamal and Rafinha with that perfect 10 score. Now, let's talk about overall the players. I'm not going to go into too many details because, like I said, everybody did their job. Everybody did great. There's not a single player that I can think and point at and be like, this guy did not do what he was supposed to do, because everybody did this job. And that's what happens when you build a structure, when you build a system, when you build an identity for your players to thrive in. When you as a coach build a clear system where every player knows exactly what they're supposed to do and how to do it within an individual and a cohesive context, then everybody flourishes and everybody does well. Because when a team is improvising and nobody knows what the other players are doing, and you lose the ball or you make a mistake, you leave everyone else exposed because no one else knows what you were trying to do because everybody is improvising. But when you have a system where each player knows exactly what they need to do as an individual and as a team player, then everybody knows what you're about to do. So if you make a mistake, if you lose the ball, if you get the ball taken from you, there's other players around you ready to cover your back and ready to fix your mistake, because everybody knows what they're supposed to do and everybody knows what you are about to do, because everybody is working as a unit. Everybody's working as a cohesive unit. And that's all thanks to Hansi Flick, who's been able to implement his identity and his tactics into this team. And the amazing thing is that he has been able to do it so fast. I did not expect this. I thought that we're going to be seeing a Barcelona perform this well, maybe like towards middle of the season, maybe end of the season, maybe not even till next season. But we are only 4 matches in, and we're already seeing Flick's clear identity in the team. And this is why on Saturday, everybody did absolutely amazing. Ter Stegen didn't really have much work to do. He had one very important key save that could have ended in goal. As far as the defense, I think Iñigo Martinez was absolutely imperial, stopping everything that came his way, intercepting everything that came his way. Pau Cubarsí, my God, ladies and gentlemen, Pau Cubarsí. If he is not the son of Gerard Piqué and Puyol, then I don't know who his parents are. But Pau Cubarsí he's back to his best form that we saw during last season. Not only imperial in defensive way, but the way his front passes are out of this world. I don't think there's any other center back on the team that can do the passes that Pau Cubarsí does, especially that brilliant assist to Rafinha for Rafinha's first goal, all the way from midfield. Sees Rafinha making the run, makes the pass to him, and then Rafinha controls it beautifully and scores the goal. Jules Koundé, again, I insist, Jules Koundé is definitely top 5 right backs right now in Europe. And then Balde. Balde did whatever the hell he wanted on the left flank. He was running through defenders like it was no one's business. And I think we are starting to see the best form or the best version of Alejandro Balde, which I'm not surprised, because we all saw what Flick did with Alphonso Davies. Remember, Alphonso Davies wasn't Alphonso Davies before Flick. It was Flick who turned Alphonso Davies in one of the best left backs in the world. And I think he's starting to do the same with Balde, because Balde continues to improve match after match. Now, in the midfield, we had Casado, Pedri, and Olmo. I think Olmo is fitting like a glove. Olmo has played only 2 matches, but he looks like he's been with Barcelona for the past 10 seasons. Casado, I gotta say, how good is our academy? Because we were all very, very worried about when Bernal got injured and tore his ACL. And then there comes Casado, and it's like nothing happened. He took Bernal's spot like nothing. He filled that void like it wasn't even there. Commanding the midfield, distributing the ball, coming back, helping with the defense. I think Casado did a spectacular job. I disagree with the score that SofaScore has for him of a 6.5, I think, or is that a 6.6? 6.6. But I think Marc Casado absolutely did the job of Bernal. This is not to discredit anything from Bernal. I think Bernal was absolutely phenomenal, but this just goes to show how good our academy is, where when our main guy gets injured, someone else can take his spot, and it's like nothing happened. Pedri being Pedri, distributing the ball like no one else does. And then finally, we'll talk about the final three after we do a few more comments, because I don't want these comments to build up on me and then I forget to read them. All right, let's see. Wisdom says we scored 4 more goals when Fermin and Eric came in. I do want to talk about Eric in a little bit, by the way. But yes. Do Not Touch says WMO for still doing Barca match review, but Elmo for saying why sign Olmo. Again, and I think I've explained this a million times, but I'll explain it again. Let me fix this. There we go. I think I'm going to have to build a sign so people understand. When I said we don't need Olmo, or when I complained about Olmo signing, I did not complain about the player himself. I always said I have no doubt that Olmo's going to come and do great at the team, because he was at his prime. He was doing great with Spain. He had just won the Euros. He's from the academy. He's going to know exactly how to play in Barcelona. So my complaint about the signing of Olmo was never about Olmo himself. It was about the club spending 55 million euros that we did not have, because we had to borrow that money, in order to sign a player for a position that we did not need reinforcing. Remember, we had Pedri, we had Fermin, and we had Gundogan, because this was before Gundogan left. So we had 3 players for one position, and Barcelona spent money they didn't have to bring a 4th player for that position. So my complaint about Olmo signing was never about Olmo himself. I was never like, oh, Olmo sucks. I can't believe Barcelona want to sign him. My complaint was, why are we spending money that we don't have to reinforce a position that we don't need to reinforce, when we had the left wing that needed reinforcing? Because we still don't have a specialist on the left wing. Don't get me wrong, Rafinha's doing a great job, but he's not a left winger. So, anyways. Hussein says, hey Mo, I always listen to you and thank God I meet live today. Barca really make my day. Visca Barca. Visca Barca as well, my friend. Barcelona have definitely made my day, especially after that amazing display. And again, it's not about the goals. It's about the way the team played. Lone Wolf says, hey Mo, where do you watch full match replays? Here in the US, it's ESPN Plus. I don't know where you are, so I'm not sure. But if you Google it, I'm sure it comes up. But in the US, it's ESPN. Kara King says, hi Mo, logging on from Barbados. Thank you for still doing analysis. Good to relive good times. Flick is showing this team needed a professional leading them. Absolutely agree with you, my friend. I think that's what we needed, was a proper coach. Is something we haven't had since Luis Enrique. But anyways, let's get back to the lineup, because we had in the front Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and Rafinha. Lewandowski, 4 goals in 4 matches. I think Flick is definitely restoring Lewandowski to his prior form. And let's not forget, this guy is 36 years old. And the fact that he is still performing at this level in the highest, one of the best leagues in the world, is absolutely amazing. Lamine Yamal, to me, I have to say, definitely the best player in the match. Now, you might disagree. You might say, well, it's Rafinha because he scored his hat trick. And I talk about Rafinha a little bit. But to me, Lamine Yamal was the best of the match, because Lamine Yamal is gotten to the point where he is just doing whatever he wants on the field. He has gotten to the point where it's like playing FIFA on easy mode. Lamine Yamal did whatever he wanted against Real Valladolid, dribbling past players like it's no one's business, like he was playing against amateurs. His 2 assists were absolutely magnificent. His first assist to Lewandowski, his running across the field was very reminiscent of Messi. His cutting across the field, sees Lewandowski make that run and just boop, right to Lewandowski's feet. Absolutely brilliant. His second assist to Rafinha, the way he does it so effortlessly. He cuts the ball in between 3 defenders to leave Rafinha hand-to-hand with the goalkeeper. I think Lamine Yamal, to me, was absolutely magisterial. 10 out of 10 performance. He did whatever the hell he wanted. The only thing he was missing was a goal. But right now, he is actually the top assist provider in all of La Liga. And the way he is starting to improve his passing is very reminiscent of the passes that Messi used to do playing from that position, and he's only 17 years old. I don't think I can stress that enough. Lamine Yamal is only 17 years old. He is a child. We have not even seen the best out of Lamine Yamal. Players don't hit their prime until they're 25, 26 years old, and he's only 17. So if we're seeing this kind of level of skills at 17, imagine what we're going to see in 6-7 years when Lamine Yamal is even 10 times better than what he is right now. So absolutely magisterial performance by Lamine Yamal. And of course, we do have to talk about the man of the match, the MVP, Rafinha, because Rafinha had an absolutely amazing match, building up on the previous amazing match that he had, because he had a great match against Valencia. And then he followed that up again during this match against Real Valladolid. And the cherry on top, 3 goals and an assist to Ferran Torres, which is not an easy thing to do, I gotta say. But an absolutely brilliant match by Rafinha. And of course, here comes the people who are like, hey, Mo, are you angry? Are you upset? Ha ha ha, Rafinha shut you up. Not at all. Since day one that I started criticizing Rafinha, I always said the same thing. I said, I want and I wish and I pray that Rafinha proves me wrong. Why? Because I want all players of Barcelona to do great. Because if the players do great, the team does great. And if the team does great, well, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see my team does great. So no, I'm not upset that Rafinha did great. No, I'm not angry that Rafinha proved me wrong. I think this is a very childish and immature way to look at things. It's the absolute opposite. I'm on cloud 9. I'm very, very happy that Rafinha did great. I'm very, very happy that Rafinha is proving me wrong. Because again, not only do I want to see all Barcelona players do great, I also want to see Barcelona's money being spent the right way. That's why I said when Vitor Roque left the Real Betis, I said I really hope he finds his form and he can come back to Barcelona and be a star, because after all, we spent 30 million on him and we don't have money. So I don't want to see Barcelona throw 30 million euros down the drain. Same thing with Rafinha. We spent 60 plus million euros on him. And for the last 2 seasons, he was not proving that Barcelona made a good investment. Now he is. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Barcelona's money being used in the right way. So no, I'm not mad that Rafinha is doing good. I'm very, very happy that he is. I hope Ferran Torres is the next one to prove us wrong too. If Ferran Torres tomorrow starts scoring goals, providing assists, and playing amazing, I'll be even happier. Because again, I want all Barcelona players to do well, because if they do well, the team does well. So I'm very, very happy for Rafinha. I hope he can maintain this level throughout the season, because if he does, we're good. Remember, last season, the only guy who was scoring goals was Lewandowski, and in second place was Fermin Lopez. But if we have Lewandowski scoring goals, Rafinha scoring goals, Dani Olmo scoring goals, maybe Ferran Torres proves us wrong and start scoring goals, guess what? Our goal drought is over. And then we can start winning matches. We can start putting up points on the board. So very, very happy with Rafinha. His first hat trick of his career. Absolutely amazing. And for the people who are like, oh, are you going to apologize to Rafinha? No, why would I apologize to Rafinha? I say what I see. And for the last 2 seasons, Rafinha was not doing well. And I said it. Now he is. Now, for some reason, people think that good performances are retroactive, where if you do great one match, it means you were always doing great. And that's not how it works. And the fact that I have to explain this is in itself mind-blowing. If you were skinny your whole life, and all of a sudden you start going to the gym, you start lifting, you start eating healthy, and now you're buff, that doesn't mean you were buff your whole life. It means you were skinny before and now you're buff. Same thing with Rafinha. He had 2 bad seasons with a few good performances here and there. Now he's doing great. Back then I criticized him. Now I get to applaud him. That's how it works. Why would I apologize? This guy earns over 10 million euros to kick around a ball. He's finally earning his salary. And you want me to apologize to him? These are the same people who you could steal from them and then have them apologize to you for stealing. Like, oh, I'm sorry you had to steal from me. I should have, I don't know, donated to you. Come on. Anyways, very, very happy with Rafinha's performance. I really, really hope he continues on that path. And the last thing I say about the players is be careful with Eddie Garcia, because he had really, really great minutes as a defensive midfielder. As you know, Flick has been, or reports are saying that Flick really likes Eddie Garcia as a defensive midfielder more as a center back. And so far, he's been putting good minutes in there. So keep an eye on Eddie Garcia in that defensive midfield position. I think always as a center back, he had really good forward passes. And that's, perfect for someone who's in a defensive midfield position. So keep an eye on Eric Garcia. I really like the minutes that I saw. They weren't a lot. I think he only played like 12 minutes or something like that. But keep an eye on Eric Garcia in that defensive midfield position. All right, let's do more comments, and then I'll say a few more words, and then we'll end the live stream. And then we do have to do the podcast. Don't forget, today's Monday. There is a podcast at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bakara King says it was really evident Xavi couldn't get his idea projected on the field, and Flick knows how to work with the players he has and to their strength for Barca. I agree with you 100%. Like I always said, I think there was a big problem, big disconnect between Xavi's ideas and what we saw on the field, because obviously Xavi knew what he was talking about. I mean, he's someone who came up through the academy, spent his whole career at Barcelona, one of the greatest midfielders in the history of football, not just of Barcelona, but in the history of football. So he obviously knew what he was talking about as far as the Barcelona identity and how to play. We also heard it in the press conferences when he would express his ideas. He obviously knew what he was talking about. So it wasn't a matter of, Xavi doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He knew. He had a clear vision of what he wanted. The problem was he did not know how to implement that vision onto the players, and it didn't help that he surrounded himself with very inexperienced coaches. His staff was full of inexperienced people. I think that was a big problem, because if you have the vision but you don't know how to apply it, then surround yourself with more experienced people who can take your vision and teach it to the players. Oh, and we have a donation from Choo Choo. My bad, my friend. But he says, hi, Mo. Let's be honest. There's no midfielder in this Barca team touching Olmo. Yeah, it's too early, but tell me who can keep him on the bench. Yes, Olmo is doing absolutely amazing. 2 great matches out of 2 great matches and 2 goals in 2 matches. So far, Olmo is fitting in like a glove. Let's hope he can continue on this path because, again, it's a little bit too early. But yes, very, very happy with that signing. Sean says, hey, Mo, I saw that Ansu has returned to training. Is it only me who finds it suspicious that he recovered as soon as the transfer window closed? I mean, it could be. You might be onto something there, but it could be. Dajit says, Mo, next match against Girona, what is your take on this matchup? Oof, that's a good question. If Barcelona can play the same way we played against Real Valladolid, I think we should be fine, regardless of who we face off. But it's going to be a really great matchup because Mitchell is a very good tactician. It'll be a good matchup, but I think Barcelona could comfortably win. Not the gamer says facts, Mo. The bandwagoners of fans is just sad. One day it was we love someone, next day if they want him out of the club. I agree. The problem is people are very fickle, right? It's like you can have a player have 10 bad matches and then they have 1 good match. They're like, oh, he's the best ever. Or the opposite. You can have a player have 10 great matches and then he has 1 bad match and they're like, oh, he sucks. Get him out of here. Either that or they form teams where, okay, I'm going to support this player no matter what. If he does great, I support him. If he does bad, I support him. Or I hate this player. If he does great, I hate him. If he does bad, I hate him. And it's neither here nor there. You have to judge players based on what they do. If they do great, you praise them. If they do bad, you criticize them. You cannot just defend the player no matter what. That's not being a true Barcelona fan, to just support the player no matter what because he's wearing a Barca jersey. That's not how it works. You support the club, the institution, no matter what. But the people within the institution, the players, the coaches, the board of directors, those people, you judge them based on their work. If they do great, you say good job. If they do bad, you say do better. If they cannot do better, you tell them get the fuck out. Because these people are not working for free. This is not a charity. All these people, players, coaches, they're earning millions and millions and millions of euros. If they can't do the job right, then they need to get out. So supporting a player no matter what is not being a true Barca fan. Supporting a coach no matter what is not being a true Barca fan. It's actually the opposite because you're letting mediocrity set in. Because if you're going to support someone even when they do a bad job, you are not doing yourself or the club any favors. You support the institution no matter what, but you criticize the players when they do bad. You praise them when they do good. All right, one more donation. Sanjok says, Mo, what's going to happen when Christensen comes back and we might have to deregister Olmo? Wondering what Laporta's going to say in his press conference. What's going to happen is, ideally, we'll see if that happens or not, but ideally is that Barcelona would have already signed the Nike deal. Maybe the Barca Vision deal. That's going to take probably more time. But ideally, the Nike deal will be signed. And if the Nike deal is signed, then Barcelona will achieve the 1-1 rule. And they will be able to register Olmo the normal way while keeping the registration of Christensen. And they will be able to register Iñigo. Because remember, Iñigo Martinez is registering in place of Araujo. So when Araujo comes back, he's going to have to be re-registered. And Iñigo going to have to be registered the normal way. So hopefully by then, the Nike deal is signed. We're back to 1-1. And both Iñigo and Olmo can be registered the right way. That's the plan. We'll see if it happens. Hopefully it happens. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. Now, final thoughts about the match, or in general, I should say. Very, very happy with the team. Very, very happy with the players. Very, very happy with Hansi Flick's performance as a coach. However, and this is very important, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's very important to maintain a cool heads, because I'm already starting to see comments saying, hey, Mo, do you think we can win the treble? Let's slow it down. Let's not get too crazy. This is only 4 matches. We're only 4 matches in. The season is very, very long. A lot of things can happen. Projects have ups and downs when they first begin. There's going to be matches where we might lose. There's going to be matches where we might draw. There's going to be matches where we're not going to perform that great as against Real Valladolid. There's going to be ups and downs. That's the trajectory of every project when they first start. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still don't know if this performance against Real Valladolid is the new norm or whether it's just the exception. Because we saw that a lot with Xavi. Remember the match against PSG, the first one? Oh, and we had another, I can't remember what other match where we won 5-0, and we're like, woohoo, things have turned around, just for them to crash, come down crashing. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we don't have enough information to say this is the new trajectory or this is the new norm. We're only 4 matches in. 3 of those matches, we started out bad, we finished great. Real Valladolid match was the first one where we started out great and we ended great. So don't get ahead of ourselves. Maintain cool heads. The season is very long. It's a brand new project. A lot of new players. So we must remain cool. But at the same time, we can still celebrate that there is a clear improvement of the team from last season. And with that, I am happy. If we continue to improve, I'll be happy. Even if at the end of the season we don't win anything, I would still be happy because I'm seeing an improvement. Something we hadn't seen in a very long time. So, very, very happy with the outcome, but even happier with the performance. Let's hope and pray that we continue on this trajectory, because if we do, then good things are coming for Barcelona. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is 2 days late, but I'm finally back home. I'm finally back in my studio. Very happy to be back. I will be doing the podcast later today, so I will see you guys there. And as always, peace, Barça.